Okay, guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. I put up last homework assignment. It's two or three sentences to explain how European life influenced African countries. That was from our assignment for day 4, talking about the African government. Today's assignment is you are going to, hopefully by the end of the lesson, you're going to be able to understand what apartheid is. It is called apartheid. And then what you're going to, the I can statement is I can explain apartheid and the effects that it has had on people. So the very first thing that I would like for you to do today is I would like for you to go to this website. It is called http www.history.com/topics/apartheid. If you can't see the bottom of it, apartheid, it is this word here. I want you to plug that in, and then what you're going to see is you're actually going to be able to watch. It's a 6-minute video. Okay, it's called apartheid. It's from the History Channel, and you are going to watch this about 6 minutes long. And then I'd like for you to read all of this below. It's honestly it's less than a page long. In terms of reading assignments. So after you finish this, I want you to read, and then hopefully you'll get a better understanding of really what apartheid was. And then we're going to continue on with our next portion of the lesson. I would encourage you to pause now. So the question is what is apartheid? Okay, so apartheid was divided into 4 different groups of people, 4 different social classes. The first one was the blacks, second was the whites, the third was the coloreds, the fourth was the Asians. Now, I have read in some other places that they just didn't, another name that they might have called people was Indians. So just be aware that if you see the 4 different social classes, instead of the colors, I believe it's going to be the Indians. So just please be aware, please be prepared for that. Obviously, I think the first 2 are pretty common sense. The blacks and the whites are what they are. Okay, and then the colors are different people of mixed descent. It could be interracial marriage. It could be just somebody from a totally different area. And then they had the Asians as well, where obviously people from Asia. So those are the different 4 social classes in South Africa. So here's some understanding and some basic economic or understanding of what life was really like in South Africa. 90% of the population was black, and then 10% were white. But the 10% white dominated and controlled the 90% who were black. So apartheid. Okay, apartheid is an Afrikaans word which means apartness. Apartheid developed in the 1930s and 40s. Was similar to the policy of segregation which it replaced. The term apartheid was commonly used in discussions about race and politics by Afrikaner nationalists who wanted white domination in South Africa. So going back to the slide, only 10% were making the rules and the decisions for everybody in South Africa. My question is that really fair? Where 1 out of every 10 people are going to decide, and are they really having what's best interest for the people on overall what their interests are? Are they really listening? Are they really acknowledging that there might be a different point of view? More than likely, they are not. Okay? So what they did is it's very similar, and if you remember, I talked about in our last lesson, I talked about how Africa, the continent of Africa, and the different countries in Africa, to me, it's truly remarkable, because it's like looking at the United States being reborn again, like the early stages, where the different the different parts of the United States where they established their own government, established their own rules. You can actually live see it right now in Africa, and to me that is truly remarkable, just because we can kind of see how our country and how our foundation was formed. But the separation of groups of people, we had this unfortunately in the all the way up to the 1960s, where certain people would have to live in certain areas, where it's called the Bofatas, okay, that's Botswana, okay, Botswana, okay, they had to live in a certain area. And then the Siski, they had to live in a certain area, and so on and so forth. And we had this in the United States, with segregation between blacks and whites, and separation. Brown versus the Board of Education, where in 1954 we allowed blacks to have the right to have education the same as somebody in a white. In a white school, and we had the racial riots in the 1960s. Martin Luther King Jr. Stood up and said that he wants equal opportunity for everyone, no matter the color of their skin, but the content of their character. So we see all this, when this happened unfortunately during the same amount of time from South Africa to the United States, and so the segregation, the separation of people. So apartheid continued all the way up to 1993, and racial segregation. There are some people who still believe that we still have those. The racial separation still in today's society in the United States, and it can be argued both that we do and both that we don't. But apartheid stopped in 1993 in South Africa, and in 1994 they elected a black president. You might know him. His name is Nelson Mandela. He actually stood up and opposed apartheid in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, and he actually got arrested and was put in jail for his belief that apartheid is wrong, and he stayed there until he was let go with freedom. Just a horrible life that he had to live, and he did nothing wrong. He just opposed what was going on. So your all's write-in assignment, your homework assignment for today is, I want you to write a one-page paper explaining your thoughts if you were stuck or put in jail for over 30 years for something you felt was right, but you could not do anything because of the color of your skin. I know that this is going to be difficult probably for some of you guys to understand because you didn't go through these type of situations, but if you probably talk to your grandparents, they probably would understand about this whole situation. So I just want you to imagine that you are put in jail because of the color of your skin. You have done absolutely nothing wrong other than you stated that this is wrong. How would you feel? And what would you do? For an extra credit assignment, if you would like, there's a movie out, and I actually think that you guys would enjoy it. It is called Invictus. Okay, it is about South Africa and the issues and stuff that they had to go through. I encourage you guys to watch that. If you watch that, and give me a one-page paper explaining to me what it was about, I will give you 10 extra credit bonus points. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I will do anything I can to help you. Raise your hand, and we'll be good to go from there. So as long as nobody else has any other questions, I believe that this assignment is finished for today.